you said. Okay. So good evening and good to be Shvat Chag Sameach. As Rav Moshe David spoke about, I want to speak today about something totally different. I'm feeling I'm really zoomed in now, but I don't know. Okay. I want to speak about something different, focusing on the word of Kedusha, holiness. We're in the themes of Emunah, on belief. So Kedusha goes on, in a way, what God is, holy, and maybe also our relationship to God, speaking about when we want to holy God, make God holy. And it's a little complicated theme, and I don't have a clear answer. What does that mean, that people say God is holy? But I want to try to focus on the text we say in the prayer, and maybe their sources also. And based on that, first of all, knowing better what we are saying when we every day holy God, so we understand the words and the sources of it. And maybe I hope we're also speaking a little about the sources of it, and by that having understanding of how we describe, I would say, our relationship with God, or our duty to holy God. And how could you do something like that when we can't describe God? So how do we do that? Where should we start? So just to begin with, before we go to the text, and as I said, it's a little complicated, the theme. I want to ask you, if I ask you to holy God, okay, I could share a text from the Torah. Rav Moshe David, could you let me share? Go make me co-host. That's good enough also. Thank you. So if I will share here, we have a sentence from Vayikra, where it says, "You shall not profane my holy name, that I may be sanctified, holy, the nikdashti in Hebrew, in the midst of the Israelite people, I, Hashem, who sanctify you." Okay, Hashem is making us so holy, and because of that, or He is, making us holy, and because of that, we should let Hashem be sanctified in our midst. What does that mean? And I will add, you could understand this sentence in a way saying everything we do when if we read the whole chapter, we will see by keeping the mitzvot, we holy Hashem. And that's a correct answer. I just say it because that's not what I want to focus on. I want to focus on the action that we do when we want to sanctify or holy the name of God, or making it holy. Because the way Chazal understand this sentence is that we have to be a minyan when we sanctify Hashem, because it said in the midst of the Israelite people, and that means that we should, in one or another way, describe the holiness of God. That's something we need to do. So, and just to add, I will share something from the prayer that we say every day in the prayer. Here we say every day in the prayer, the third prayer of the Amidah, we say, "You are holy." I'll make it bigger. Moment. You are holy, your name is holy, and holy ones praise you daily. Okay? So there is a description of praying or describing or praising the holiness of God. Okay? So before we will see even more text of holiness, I hope you won't be confused and actually learn something from this. I want to ask you, how do we do that? Okay? If I tell you, forget everything you learned from before, please, could we gather in this shiur and what we say in Hebrew, lekadesh, to make holy or to sanctify Hashem together with words? How can we do that? And try to answer. It's a hard question. How should we do that? Where should we start? Which word should we choose? How should we choose words to sanctify? And we could also go a little into the question what holiness is. We have had also in this Bet Midrash. I remember from the last Bet Midrash we had in Oslo, there was a debate about that, what holiness is. It could be what we understand in the name holiness. Now I want to focus on what do we say, which word should we choose when we want to make Hashem holy in our midst. So anyone who is brave enough to start saying your opinion, guessing, I don't know. Yes. Not everyone together, just one at a time, because it's hard to hear you. Yes.
Yes, so you just to make sure I understand.
Yes.
Yeah, you're saying what words to use?
Words, which kind of description, take it to the anyway the word. You have an obligation, maybe from the Torah, to sanctify Hashem. It's a discussion if it's the Torah, probably not, but we understand it. We have to make Hashem holy or to describe his holiness. Where should we start? How should we do that?
Can we not do it through actions?
Yeah, we can. So I said, the one understanding is we do it through actions, and that's a correct understanding in the text.
Okay.
Sure. But we have a tradition that we also have to do it by words. Okay, so now my question is, how could we do that by words? Okay, how could we describe the holiness of Hashem? We could say Hashem is holy. That we saw in the text. That's maybe a possibility. Which, and I'll explain the problem. The problem is, according to my opinion, that we're very, very careful on describing or picturing Hashem. That's something we can't do, because every description, any way of describing or picturing Hashem is limited. We are limiting him in our imagination, and Hashem is without any limits.
Could we say?
So a description could be very, very problematic, and we have to choose words very carefully.
Could it be Echad?
Echad, good idea. The oneness of Hashem. That's the way we describe our belief with Shema Yisrael. We say is Echad. One thing you do that is very clever when you have to choose a word is you take a word you know from the Torah, and then we don't find off on the words ourselves, but we actually lean ourselves from something we can be sure about. Because the Torah said Hashem Echad, then we can say Hashem Echad. It's good to say that. But if I would find my own words to describe Hashem, I will for sure say something that is limiting Hashem or is not correct. So I like your suggestion. Yes, Dan.
Yeah, I just want to see that this is, of course, very personal. How you, when you especially praying, and this is a connection between your heart and what you believe.
Mm-hmm.
I feel it very personal because this is sort of connection. In this context, for example, when we're talking about end of Neila in Yom Kippur, this is something strong that you're saying, Hashem Hu Elohim. This is very strong. That sometimes I use it to making meditation on that, and in this connection. So this is very personal to have this mantra for yourself that and have it inside you until you like have some feelings, you know. So for me, it's very personal. Just that one.
Then again, you use a text that is very short, not very big, and only understanding that the words that we describe are over our ability to imagine or to describe what God is. That is maybe a clever way of describing the holiness of Hashem. Okay,
that was sorry. That was
the
all
holiness of Hashem. And it's important that I use the word holiness of, because there are different ways that we describe with words our connection to Hashem. Even in halakha, we are obligated to read Shema Yisrael every morning and every evening. That is a description where we, with our words, describe our belief. Because that's inside Emunah, but it's a description of our belief. Another thing we do is we bless Hashem. Okay, we say blessings when we say Amidah, we say blessings when we eat, we say blessings when we do mitzvot, we say many things we do, we are blessing Hashem. So we don't describe him as holy, we say Hashem is blessed that he created this and this, or gave us the opportunity to experience this and this, gave us life. We are blessing Hashem in our words. Now I went to a third description that is very hard to understand. Okay, is lekadesh et Hashem, making Hashem holy or describing His holiness. And because it's a little complicated, because we can say Hashem is holy. Okay, we won't go into description what holy is, unique, spiritual in a unique way that you can't compare with anything else, that is separated, as Shabbat is holy, separated from the weekdays because it's more spiritual and because it's unique and so on and so on. I don't want to go to it because we won't have time. It's another shiur, to what Kedusha is, what the word holiness is. But we have an obligation to holy Hashem in our midst, with our words also, not only, as we said, with our actions. That's maybe the most important thing, if I can describe what's more important, but also doing it with words. And when we try to do that, we are a little unsure in what to say, okay? After I said this, I want us to read together what we say in the prayer every day, in the part that we call Kedusha. Kedusha is like describing the holiness of Hashem. We say it 3 times every shacharit if we have a minyan. If we don't have a minyan, we say it twice in every shacharit, and not in shacharit of Shabbat, and we say it once on shacharit and once for mincha. But it's something we say at least, let's say, 3 times or 4 times every day. And they're different. We have different description of or words for the Kedusha, but there is something that is very similar for all of them. So I just want us to read it together to understand what does it tell us, this text from the Siddur. So I will share the English Siddur now, starting with what we say in the brachot of Shema. Okay, sorry for going up and down. So in the first bracha before Shema, okay, where that is starting with where we bless. This is a blessing first of all. In the blessing of Hashem, who created the whole nature, we have the following description. Let's find it fast. Sorry, here. Yeah, so it goes from sentence to sentence. After speaking about Hashem who created the whole universe, we also describe Hashem who created the angels that we can read about in the Tanakh, mainly in the prophets, okay? And we speak about creator of ministering angels and so on. I won't go through all the text. Hashem created the angels, okay? And they all opened their mouth in holiness and purity, and we sung and psalm and blessed and praise and glorify the name of the great mighty and so on. So we speak about how the angels, not we, the angels are praising Hashem. And then we continue, and this is the part that we call Kedusha, okay? It's one of kind of Kedusha. And we say, all accept themselves one from another, the yoke of the kingdom of heaven, granting permission to one another. There is something between these people, these angels, what they do. What do they do? To sanctify the one who formed them in serene spirit, pure speech, and sweet melody, all as one. We're speaking about the angels. Proclaim his holiness. Maybe that is the understanding of what Kedusha is to proclaim the holiness of Hashem, saying, so we have to jump another page because it's a translation. What do they say? They say, holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole world is filled with his glory. This is a sentence from Yeshaya, chapter 6, okay? So they say, these angels, not we, they say this sentence together. And then we continue, and we describe other angels, okay? Until now, we describe the angels that we call seraphim. According to the sentences from Yeshaya, it was the angel called seraphim who says this sentence. And then we have other angels, the Ophanim and the Holy Chayot, okay? With a whir of noise, raise themselves towards the seraphim, okay? So we have the seraphim, and then we have the Ophanim and the Holy Chayot that raise, they come with the voice, facing them, giving praise, saying, blessed is the Lord's glory from his place, okay? So they say another sentence, and in that sentence, they holy the name of Hashem without the word holy, but they say he is blessed from his place, okay? We could speak a lot about what the difference is, according to Chazal, between the angels called Seraphim and the angel called Holy Ophanim and Holy Chayot are. I won't go into it. I suppose we won't have time for it. But we have a description. How do we holy Hashem in this sentence? We're not telling that we are saying these sentences, but the way of saying is that we repeat a description from the prophet, where the angels are proclaiming his holiness and blessing him with these words, okay? If you are until now a little out of it, let's see the sentences themselves inside the texts, okay? So we will come back to something that is a little more simple. If you lost one sentence or a word or name of an angel, don't worry, you could follow on. So now I want us to see the texts themselves, okay? Now we saw how the description, in what we say every day, we are telling that there are these angels called seraphim that stand and say, Kadosh, 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 holy, holy, holy is Hashem. And then we have the Chayot and the Ofanim, Chayot HaKodesh and the Ofanim, other kinds of angels that stand and answer them with another sentence, say, blessed is his name, is his holy name from his place. So let's see the sentences themselves in the prophets here, starting with the first one. The first one is from Yeshaya, okay? And here they say, Seraph stood in attendance, each with 6 wings, 2 covering the face, 2 covering the body, and 2 to fly with. So the seraphim have 6 wings. One of the reasons why people, actually many Christians, I have to say, when they try to draw angels, they always have these wings. We can see it here, we can see it later also. But this is a description of what Yeshaya sees without us really able to understand what it means in the world of the angels. But they have these, and there are 6 standing from one side and 6 from the other side. And they say, and one who called to the other, one is calling to the other. There's a discussion of what that means, how that happened, who said what it means. And what did they say? They say, holy, 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 God of hosts, whose presence fills all the earth. So these seraphim, according to Yeshaya, are saying this sentence that is proclaiming the holiness of Hashem. These angels in the prophecy of Yeshaya. Going over to another prophecy of Yechezkel, here we have a kind of image that he sees. I won't go into all that. And in the end of this, he experiences these 2 sentences that we will read. And the Spirit carried me away, and behind me I heard a great roaring sound. Blessed is the presence of God in its place. Okay, so this is, he hears, Yechezkel hears this sentence, and then with the sound of the wings of the creators beating against one another, and the sound of the wheels beside them, a great roaring sound. And here the Chayot and the Ofanim are, we saw in the first translation from the Siddur, it just said the words. Here, this translation also translates the words of Chayot and Ofanim to wheels, but it says this, that they say that their wings are beating against one another without us really understanding this, okay? I'll stop sharing the text because it's a lot of text. I'll try to repeat what we have seen until now. So if you were what should I say? If you were confused when I asked how should we sanctify Hashem in the start, I suppose you're 10 times more confused now, because we read text from the prophet that we don't understand at all, okay? And that even many of our Chazal said you have to be very careful studying this, because it's a kind of putting a frame of what did the prophet see, how they saw this throne of Hashem with the angels around. And here we try to put the God that could not be put in any form in a kind of visual form. At least the angels were put in a visual form. But what we could, what to try to yes.
I have one note, if I may, on the sources that we've seen so far. I don't want to interrupt.
Great. But
First of all,
could I just tell again what we saw, and then you could say it? Just want to to make it like, if you forget everything, I'll say two sentences. That's what we saw. We saw two sentences, one from Yeshaya and one from Yechezkel, where there are angels who are praising Hashem or sanctifying his name in the image of what these prophets saw. Okay? And they have a sentence, one in Yeshaya, holy, holy, holy is the Hashem, and the second one, blessed is his name. These are the two sentences that the angels themselves are saying that we know. And it's explaining in a different way. I don't want to go in with the wings and what happened and who are standing there, but there is a kind of ceremony or kind of a vision of the angels standing and praising or holying the name of Hashem with these two sentences. And these two sentences are the same that we saw in the tefillah, in the first tefillah that we read, where it only described what we said in a nice way, that these angels, they sanctify Hashem with these words. Okay? Yes, Rav Moshe David.
I wanted to mention that just in reflection of what the sources that you've shown so far,
Yes.
is that many times we think of Dusha as something detached, but we think of holiness as something which is detached or above this world. But in every one of the sources that you've shown so far is a connection to this world itself. From the very beginning, the first source that you showed us, that Hashem's holiness comes through the people of Israel. In the prayer book, it also says that Hashem is holy, his name is holy, and we shall be holy. And then and even the angels are talking about God's holiness in this world. So many times it's a bit surprising perhaps that when we talk about holiness, we think of something sacred, something beyond, whereas all of the time, these sources seem to be connecting all the time back to us. And then I think it's the question or what the maybe the suggestion before is that maybe that's why it's easier for us to think about actions rather than words, because they're connected to something rather than disconnected. And you specifically asked for words, but even in the words, I see that those words themselves are connecting holiness back to this world, which is the world of action.
Exactly, very nice. You took my next step, but that's very good. I'll build on it because if you just see the sentence, holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. Holiness is a separation. Holiness is what's unique. And when they say 3 times holy, there's different understanding what that means, but the main normal understanding of that is it's as holy as it could be, okay? It's strengthening the word of holiness. And that is separating Hashem from anything. And one of the reasons why we read this here in the bracha of the creation is to remember that anything in the creation, at least according to some explanations, anything in the creation is coming from Hashem. The physical things, but also the spiritual things. And because of that, it's important for us to repeat the sentences where the spiritual creations, the angels themselves, glorify Hashem, meaning that they're not something from themselves. Everything is, you said, Florian, one is, God is one, also the spiritual world is one. And there's not angels that are fighting against each other in a way that it's not one big creation in the physical and, of course, in the spiritual world. But after we separate holy is separated, is above our understanding, the finishing of the sentence, exactly as you said, Rav Moshe David, is the whole world is filled with his glory, meaning that the holiness that is up in Hashem is not separated from our world. It's in our world, okay? And blessed the Lord, glory from his place is again a blessing that comes from down, and Hashem is in a place that is beyond our understanding, but we bless Hashem. There is a connection between, but when that is said, one of the things, and I, again, Florian will quote you again, it's good that you took the chance in the start, when you said, how could we bless Hashem? You said Hashem Echad. Hashem is one. Because that is a sentence, we know we could say that. And exactly the same way, Chazal, and mainly what we call Anshe Knesset Agdolah, the people of the big, great assembly that wrote the Tefillah and also the Kedusha that we read now, they took it from, okay, what could we use? We could use what the angels used. We as human beings can't go and find new words of holiness of Hashem. We have to lend ourselves, because Hashem is beyond everything we can understand. And because of that, the way we do it here is we, in our humble way, I'll say a humble way, we could repeat what the angels are saying. And here we don't repeat, we only say the angels are saying that. And in that way, we are making the name of Hashem holy in a very careful way, maybe in the most, if we have to use words, the most correct words we can find. Because it's not our words, it's the words that the prophets told us is the words that the angels, the Srafim, the Chayot HaKodesh, the Ofanim, are using to holy Hashem. But again, when I say it's very separating ourselves from it, but that's the only way we could, of course, in action, we could holy the name of Hashem in anything we do, and we should. But when we come to the place or we stand in front of Hashem and have to use words for it, then either we say we don't have words, and we have many descriptions in our prayers that in 1,000 words explain we don't have words, because just to say that it's above anything we can describe. But if we don't go that direction, then we can just choose the very few unique words that our prophet taught us that are the words of the angels. We can understand them, we cannot understand them, but that's the words that we can really lend on when we want to holy the name of Hashem. Okay?
Just to, yeah.
Yes.
I find it almost comical. I'm sorry for talking about comical in the word of Kedusha, but when in the prayer of Kedusha, the angels say, "Where is God's glory?" And what is their answer? Right? So first of all, if the angels are asking, "Where is God's glory?" Why do I say comical? Well, I was hoping you had
about the Kedusha of Shabbat.
Yes.
Oh, you were going far ahead. Wait. We have 20 more minutes.
Okay, but I'm saying even in this notion of the angels bringing the holiness, they themselves say, "Where's God's glory?" And why do I say comical? Because I was hoping at least they would know, but even they don't know. So if they're asking the question, how are we supposed to know? And we're quoting them saying that we don't know where his holiness is. So I find it a bit like we're quoting.
Yes.
We would hope at least they would have the answer.
Wait, I want to jump over to the main Kedusha we have. The main Kedusha we have is the one we say when the when the Chazan is repeating the Tefillah, and then we stand up. This is the Kedusha that we stand up, and we're not allowed to say it if we don't have a minyan. And that's the main Kedusha we have, okay? And there is a difference from the Kedusha we read that we say in the Shema Brachot to this one. There is a difference that is not hard to find. And here's the one we say on weekdays, okay? We will sanctify your name. Here it means we are now doing that, okay? On earth, as they sanctify it in the highest heavens. Who are they? Anyone who wants to help me? Who are they?
The angels?
The angels, exactly. So we here down in this world, in the physical world, we sanctify your name in the same way other angels did or do in the highest heavens, as is written by your prophet. And here it's really a quote, and they call to one another, saying, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole world is filled with his glory. There's also a tradition here to stand with the feet, legs together, because there is a sentence from the prophet saying that the angels are like they have one foot. And then we try as much as we can to stand similar to the angels, taking us up. When we say holy, we take the feet up. We're trying to go up to the heavens in a physical way. But we here say these words. And then again, if you remember, we had this angels in the one side and the second side, and so we have the same here. Those facing them say blessed, and then we say blessed is the Lord's glory from his place. And we add another sentence in the end of the Kedusha about the reign of Hashem on the world. I don't want to use time about it. It's very important, but I just want to focus on the main part of the Kedusha, that are these two sentences. We'll always find them in Kedusha. Any Kedusha you will find, not Kaddish, Kedusha, it's a difference, a very important difference, is saying these two sentences. What is the difference between this that we read here to what we read before? What is the main difference in content between these two? Okay, I could just help you. Yeah, Florian.
That we place ourselves within this.
Yeah, because it's a big difference. In the first Kedusha, it's a Kedusha, we're just telling the story. We are telling that the angels are saying this and this and this. And that's a nice story, and we holy Hashem by telling that this is the way the angels do it, without maybe understanding the whole picture. But we can use the words of the angels when we tell it. Here in the Kedusha, we say here, we are saying the words. So yes, we begin with telling that we are saying the words the same as the angels do. But now we are a part of the story. We are sanctifying Hashem by the same words as the angels. This is like taking a big step ahead in what we try to do, that we don't know how to holy Hashem with our own words. So what do? Oh, we could do the same as the angels. They above do it, and we down here do the same. And every Kedusha you will find will have this same kind of description of what we are doing. I'll show you another example from how we say it on Shabbat. In old days, it was only said on Shabbat and holy days. It wasn't said every day. This Kedusha, but it's still today it became something we say every day. Oh, many years. Okay, so for example, the Kedusha we say for Musaf is a little different, but it has the same content. We will revere. I don't know how to say these words. Anyone to help?
Revere and sanctify.
Revere and sanctify. Thank you. You with the words uttered by the holy seraphim, who sanctify your name in the sanctuary, as it is written by your prophets. Okay, so it's a different kind of description of that the angels do that, and we will do the same here. Okay, and in any kind of kedusha that we say in the Chazarat Hashat, in the prayer, this will normally be the description, that we are taking the possibility or the big holy mission of holying Hashem that we are obligated to, also with words. We do it the same as the angels do. because that's maybe the best words we could use. Okay, and by that, we connect. Angels is also something we don't understand. We don't understand what they say, but we can repeat the words. They're the words that they said, and we understand the words. That is what we are doing, and by that, we are choosing to sanctify Hashem. As Rav Moshe David pointed, sometimes when we say it, we could misunderstand and think that we're only trying to like disconnect from this world to a spiritual, holy world where we have angels, and we're trying to disconnect us from this world to be in the world where you could holy the name of Hashem. But in many ways, we can see that in no way is not what is meant. The meaning is that this is the words that we can do as human beings with our problems and with our migbalot. If you, Rav Moshe David, you can find a good word for that.
Limitations.
Limitations, thank you. The limitations of human beings, that is okay, that's what we could say. But there are many midrashim that explain, yes, without going into are there angels actually or not, or are there a spiritual description of something. I won't go into that question, but when we try to compare angels and human beings, angels maybe have some spiritual advantages on human beings. But human beings with the main understanding of me with the free will, angels can't rebel against Hashem. And because of that, maybe their words are pure in their understanding of they are totally servant of Hashem, and that's something great. But we are human beings, we're not angels. And human beings have the opportunity to rebel against Hashem. And because of that, in many ways, we see that when we could raise ourselves to be as angels, we can't be angels, but as angels, then we, with our free will, choose not to rebel against Hashem and to use our will, and with free will, to sanctify the name of Hashem. And that is in many ways seen as not we down here will praise Hashem as the angels up there, but we down here, from here we can say the same words as the angel. And in many ways we see that as something that is above what the angels do. And I'll show you some a quote that shows this way of thinking from the Talmud, if you're still following with this. So what we have in the Talmud is a discussion. I won't show you all that, but it's from Masechet Chulin. And here they have this different discussion between rabbis about what the angels are doing and where the human praise of Hashem is more than the angels, as we said. So here the Zaman says that the Jewish people are more dear to the Holy One, blessed Him, than the mystering angels, okay? Because they only say once a day, and we say many times a day, and different quotes that try to show, even with the sentence we saw, that what we do is even more worse, if we could go into what is worse more. But I want to stop with this one, because this, I think, is the main core of what we say. And the ministering angels do not recite their song above until the Jewish people recite the song below. Okay? They learn from a sentence from Job. So the understanding of the Talmud here is very unique. Not only, if we said before, if I started by saying, we down here, how should we holy the name of Hashem? we can tell the story that we learned from the prophets about how they say these two sentences. That's what we're doing. And then we went another step ahead and we said, no, we also are part of the story. When we say down here, the same as the angels say up there. And now we go another step ahead on making our words worthy. That's what I'm going to say, worthy and important. As the Gemara said, they can't say anything up there until we say something down here. And by that, saying that we have an important, even if we don't understand everything, and we can't understand Hashem, and we can't understand the descriptions of the angel, and we have to lend on their holiness and the holy words of the prophets, because that will be a bad way of describing Hashem. But they can't do it without us. We have a mission here. And because of that, as we saw, our words, when we say that they say up there, and we say down here, it's not that we are, but that we are part, as Rav Moshe David said, very nice, we can see the sentence is taking Hashem above everything and beyond everything, but the whole world is filled with his honor and with his name. And how does that happen? It can't happen without us saying the words, because we give the place for it. Yes, Rav Moshe David.
I'm just thinking of the poor angels of Oslo, that they wait all week. You know, the angels of Paris, of Jerusalem, they have a minyan every day, and then they're saying the Kedusha every day. And then the angels of Oslo are just waiting around and hoping, you know, they're just waiting for the last person of the minyan to show up, and they're waiting all week for their special Kedusha, because they can't say it without the community of Oslo. And I say it jokingly, but I think it's very special in that sense, that there's a deep connection between heaven and earth that is being said here, and that the holiness and the sanctity is dependent upon us. And if we don't have a minyan, then we don't have the Kedusha. We don't have, so someone can think, and sometimes we talked about it in Tefillah, someone can think, oh, well, maybe my personal meditation is good and I go off to the forest. But if you're doing that and leaving 9 Jews without a minyan, and then you're leaving not only 9 Jews, you're leaving all of the angels there without their...
Yes, a very good thought. I have an answer for that, because Jews find solutions also for hard situations, so I'll finish with that later. But I do want to show you another text of Kedusha that is unique, that we in our Ashkenazi tradition don't have, but the Sephardi tradition have, the way they say Kedusha on Musaf for Shabbat, and also the Hasidim and the Nusach Sfarad, as we call, use the same, because it takes it another step in the direction that we said, and that's how they read the Kedusha on Musaf of Shabbat. A crown is given to you, Hashem, our God, by the angels on high, and by your people who assemble below. All them together repeat holy. Okay? So here they take the description that we had in the prophets, and that description to begin with was some angels standing in front of other angels saying a sentence. And in the description we took the angels from Ishaya and Yechezkel and put them together, saying the one sentence and the second sentence. And then we added that we are saying down here as the angels up. I think in this description it says not only we do as they do up, but it's one unity, because they can't, as we said, we can't say without us. So we stand together with the angels saying the sentence. It's a very unique description of this. That we can see there. And by that, I said that we will start the learning by seeing, oh, what does that mean to Holy Hashem? And that is a little confusing. And then after I showed you the sentence we say from Shema, and the sentence from Yeshaya and from Yechezkel, we got even more confused. Because how do we understand? And the wings, but we took the pure thing out of that, the words that they said, and we see that we have a mission in it to say it as they say, and by that we make Hashem holy in our midst, and in a way, not only telling what they told, but we say it, and in a way we are part of the story, because we give, even if we can't understand, imagine, or describe Hashem, because with their words, with their holy words, we could give a place for that description. I just want to add with just the story of the Jewish people, okay? Because Kedusha also tells the story of the Jewish people in many ways. And I'll show you two more things inside the Kedusha that we could find. The first thing is, in the Kedusha on Shabbat, we have a sentence that doesn't come from the angel and actually doesn't have anything to do in the Kedusha. And that's when we say, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. We say it only on Musaf for Shabbat and Chagim. And that's very important sentence. When we say Kiryat Shema, it's a very important sentence. We are obligated to say it as we said twice. Why does it come here? And one of the explanations for why it comes here as a part of the Kedusha is that there was a time where Israel were not allowed to say Shema, different rules against keeping the mitzvot. So what they did, and we find it in many places in the Tefillah, it's a very unique thing, that, okay, we are not allowed to say it, Shema, but we'll put it in the Kedusha in a way that people won't pay attention, those who said you're not allowed to. And we only tell that we say Shema, we don't say Shema, we're only telling it and saying the sentence. And in that way, it was a way of putting Shema in a totally wrong place, according to the story itself, but it's a way of keeping the mitzvot, even if when it was so dangerous to say Shema, putting it into Kedusha. And the same thing happened, according to our tradition, with Kedusha itself. When Kedusha was not allowed to say, we're not allowed to gather, then Rav Moshe David, you said that we have to gather for Minyan to say the Kedusha. We have another Kedusha, that is the third one we say every day, okay? And in that Kedusha, they wrote the Kedusha as a kind of studying, a way of studying Torah. And by that, there was a time where they're not allowed to say Kedusha. You can see it here. No, I went to the wrong place in the up here, okay? When we say these different sentences, you can see, and then we say you are holy, you are holy one, and so on, and the angels call one another saying holy, 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 and what you can see here is the same sentence coming again. And the same we have in the second sentence from Yechezkel, and that's also repeating itself again. And the reason is that when we read it in Hebrew, we read it in Hebrew and Aramaic. So here they took the Kedusha and they put it in a kind of, we're studying sentences from the Bible, we're not saying Kedusha. But we're studying in a way where we, in a way, say Kedusha. So that's one of the reasons. There are different explanations for why we say this. Another explanation is that we just need to study Torah every day, and we do it by these sentences, and there are different explanations. The main explanation for why we say this, where did this third Kedusha come from, was, as we said, with Shema, but with Kedusha, that it was put in the prayer in a way that it's a little more hidden, because there were times where we were not allowed by the authorities to say Kedusha at all. And we were so trying to be so I don't find the word for it, pure in our following the way of Hashem, that even when it was not allowed, we found a Jewish way of finding another way of doing it. And by that, I would just want to repeat Rav Moshe David, what we say, even in a place where we don't have a minyan, unfortunately, when we can't, as the first sentence we said, gather to sanctify Hashem in the midst of Israel, in the way we do actions, but even with our words, that's the main thing we said. Even in a place where we don't have that, when we have the next Kedusha, we could say that, and that is meant by most people. There are different discussions by rabbis by that, but meant that we could also say when we are alone and not in a minyan. And by that, we also have a Kedusha, even when we don't have a minyan. So that's, in a way, a small solution in the times we don't have minyan. Doesn't mean that we don't have to try to have a minyan in every place that we can, because every word, as we see now, and we see every word in our prayer is built on a mountain of thoughts, of traditions, of meanings, of deep meanings that put together the prayer in the words that we have, that we say every day. Yes, Florian.
I've got a question. Why,
Yeah, just
when we...
one sec.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, just before we take the question, I haven't tried this before. I sent a question in a poll regarding the upcoming shiurim. So you should be able to see it somewhere there. I don't know where. If you haven't answered, please do so. So that this is we can hear your thoughts on whether we go back to Pirkei Avot or continue with the shiurim. And the Rabbanim, all of the rabbis said it would be best to ask you. We had a discussion amongst ourselves, said it would be best to ask you. So look for the poll, and you have a democratic vote here on whether how we continue. But please, we'll go to the questions now. Sorry, Florian.
No worries. Why then, but my question is, when we say Kadosh outside of Kedusha, why don't we stand up and raise our feet as well?
So one of the explanation, the first one is actually one of the names of it is Kedusha seated. Okay, so for the first one that is a part of Shema, we see it as a kind of Kedusha, but as a description of a Kedusha, and not that we stand and say it. So that explains why we sit down here and stand up there. So maybe to show that the only real Kedusha we say together is when we stand up. So I think that's the main explanation for why we do it in that way. And also the last one, we say seated to show that it's not the same. Maybe there are different explanations, maybe exactly what we said before, that it was created in a time where we couldn't show that we're doing Kedusha. So then we sit down and we do as if we study Torah and we repeat it in Aramaic, but at least we have said the words. And that's maybe one of the explanations for why we sit down in that one. So the main Kedusha is the one we say in the repetition, and because of that we stand up in that Kedusha.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
Dan.
Dan.
Question, and then I just wanted to finish off with some words, please.
My question was about the end of the Amidah, when we say Ose Shalom Imurav and Yase Shalom Aleinu. There we referring also to like a connection between human and angel and the God. Can you a little describe this specific, because we're using also that in full Kaddish and half Kaddish also.
In what did you say now? The last things you said? In
when we like, yeah.
I didn't hear you of Moshe David either.
In the Kaddishim, the Kaddish Shalem that we also finished.
With Oseh Shalom, you speak about. Yes. First of all, Oseh Shalom is the finishing of the prayer. It's not a part of the Kedusha. The Kedusha comes in the repetition. So that the reason we go back is that we go front to speak or to bless or to praise or to tefillah. You could translate it as you want, to Hashem. So we begin by going 3 steps ahead, and we go back as if we are coming to the king and going out of his his sacred hole, the place where he sits. So it's a physical feeling of going towards Hashem and back. So it's not connected to the angels in a way. There aren't many descriptions of angels many places in the Torah, in the Nevi'im, and in our prayers. The most known one is when we sing Shalom Aleichem Malachei Hasharet on Friday evenings. And there is we could do a total different shiur or seminar or year of studying about how do our tradition or different opinions in our tradition see the angels. There is a whole discussion. Are there actually angels or are they not existing between different rabbis? But we have to understand the spiritual idea of the angels, and I'll let these other ideas of how we understand the important angels is something important because we can see it in our texts. One thing we shouldn't do with angels, if I gave a short answer, we shouldn't, and because of that, I was very, very careful when we describe the wings of the angels. We shouldn't see angels as something physical. And that's a problem when we see a description of it. Some tradition, non-Jewish traditions, have a lot of angels. I have seen different, I won't want to speak who and what, different place where you praise Hashem and you have lots of pictures of angels all over. That's against our belief. Because even when we think that an angel is something that is actually existing, it's a spiritual thing. It's not a physical thing. And the description of it with wings has a metaphorical meaning, and not because if we put an angel and put it in a physical form, it's not an angel anymore. It's physical. So that's something we have to be very careful of doing, trying to think that angels are kinds of human beings with wings. No, that's not the understanding of Judaism. What it is, it's opening for a totally new shiur. For sure, it's a message from God. It's a send from God. It's a spiritual unity, if you want to go it in that direction, and it has an importance when we describe it here. I thought just this shiur explains it. Our kedusha, one of the main, most holy prayers we have, we say the words of the angels, or even that we say it here and the angels are saying it up above. It doesn't mean I understand what that means, but that is its description of our prophets, and even as we said in the Talmud, saying nothing above could happen without us down here. And that is something I think we can connect to and try to understand, and not that to understand what the angels are or how we could describe Hashem, but focus on what is the main thing that we can do, what is our role in this, and what we can do. And that's what we try to have as a focus. It was a short answer for a very complicated question, as I said, and as I said, there is a big discussion about what the meaning of angel is for us.
Thank you, Rabbi Yoav. Actually, we're past time. I think Sophia will have to excuse us, but I just wanted, in reflection back to the first question that you started off with, in the circumstances that we are in, and connecting back again to our chayalim, I just wanted to finish off with the reflection that Rabbi Yoav brought forward in terms of words and action. And there's certain times when that comes together in holiness. And when someone gives his life for God's name and says, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, in that sense, I think it's the culmination of the highest level of holiness that a human being can reach. And there was something very special. It's a secret, so you can't let the Hamas know, that there was within the massacre of October 7th, and even ongoing today, you have Hamas who have dressed up, camouflaged with IDF, with the uniform of the soldiers, And in one of the bases, they had taken over the base already, and special units came in, and they couldn't differentiate between who was who. And instinctively, the special unit started yelling out, "Say Shema Yisrael." And then there's not one person who doesn't know how to say Shema Yisrael, and everyone just started saying Shema Yisrael, and that's how they were able to differentiate and kill the terrorists and save the soldiers there, whose entire base had been. And this is ongoing in Gaza today. As they go through, this has actually been given over now as a directive. Just they're in such a situation, and say Shema Yisrael. So in that sense, I think it's really bringing that holiness in the highest level possible of the words that are so deeply integrated into us. Then that is what is unique about us, and that's the holiness that comes out. And I found it very emotional and special, and I was reminded of it because of this shiur. So thank you, Rabbi Yoav. And in that sense, we are angels, even higher than the angels, as you said, Rabbi Yoav, that we can bring that holiness into the world. And wishing everyone a very Tu B'Shvat Sameach. May you be connected, as we said at the beginning of the shiur. Do something special for Israel today, for your connection. If you find some food from Israel in the supermarket, go ahead and buy some. Make it special bracha. That is also holiness, connecting Kedushat Eretz Israel and Kedushat Israel and the Kedusha of Hashem. So thank you, Rabbi Yoav, for bringing this forward, and thank you all. Excuse me, Sophie, we ran out of time, and I see a poll here, at least, that we have a majority who want to return to Pirkei Avot. So if that is the case, then we can do so in 2 weeks. Maybe I'll ask the question also in the WhatsApp. But I see that, and we'll make that and we'll let you know. Thank you, Rabbi Yoav, for sharing. And may all of this limud tonight be for Liloi Nishmat, my grandmother, Liloi Nishmat Miriam Bat Basha. She passed away on Tu B'Shvat, which was very fitting her. Her loving character and her love for nature and for Israel. So may all of this limud that we learned tonight be for Ilui Nishama, for my grandmother, and take care of yourselves, and see you soon.
תודה רבה.
חג שמח.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
תודה רבה. תודה רבה.